So, good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome you all for today's meetup session, which is on Kickstart Your Journey with Azure OpenAI, hosted by Data Couch. And speaker for today's session will be Mr. Vishwanatha Swamy. So, Mr. Swamy, he's an architect at AIS, a leading provider of software and cloud solutions. Swamy, he is a certified Scrum Master and leads the DevOps team, overseeing Scrum ceremonies, project deliverables, and project requirements, scope, duration, and cost definitions. He has an extensive experience in designing and developing microservices architecture, deploying services in Azure Service Fabric, and conducting performance testing. Swamy, he has also been recognized as the most valuable professional by Microsoft. We warmly welcome you, sir, for today's session. So I would take a moment to introduce our organization, Data Couch. So we are a professional service delivery company that specializes in agile, data, cloud, DevOps, generative AI, and data science-based implementation, consulting, and training. In addition to our core offerings, we also provide browser-based web solutions and manage services in Web 3.0 technologies. We are leaders into bleeding edge technologies like generative AI, blockchain, NFTs, streaming analytics, AR, VR, cybersecurity, and many more. So we would like to share that we have a global presence and we have transformed our over 150K participants and professionals through various technologies, primarily focusing on Web3, generative AI, big data, DevOps, and cloud. Highlighting our impactful footprints, we have successfully collaborated with Fortune 500 organizations and global system integrators, GSIs like Infosys, Accenture, TCS. So we at Data Couch believe in knowledge sharing with community, and for that we have created our three meetup groups: AI Minds, Hub for AI Intellectuals, Generative AI User Group, and All Things Data. Our community is over 150K strong, and so far we have conducted over 200 plus meetup sessions covering more than 100 technologies. So if we were to talk about our achievements, so our recent achievements include being recognized by Confluent as global education partner for the second consecutive year and becoming the very first training delivery partner for Starburst and OneHouse. We have created different learning paths for generative AI based on job roles and requirements of various persona. So that was a small introduction of our organizations. So now I would like Mr. Swamy to take over and I would request the participants to stay muted, and if any query is there, they can either unmute their mic and ask their query, and or either they can left their query in the chat box.
Hey, let me share my screen. Share entire screen. Okay. So, is my screen and share? Hello.
Yes, sir,
Yeah, we
your
can see
screen
the
is
screen.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. So this is Vishy Pylor. This is my GitHub, and the demo script for today's session will be here in this. So all the things, whatever we are discussing, including the code samples and the screen prints, the walkthroughs, everything is part of this demo script. Okay, and the code will be in this repo. Uh, these links I have given here in the chat. If someone wants it, again I can paste it. Okay. So what is that we are going to do today? We'll look at it, the big picture first. So we see that we'll speak about intelligence, and there are a few terms which I wanted to discuss. And Eliza, and we'll speak about Azure OpenAI Transformer GPT, and we'll take a 30,000 foot view of Azure OpenAI service, its service quotas, limits, and service models. And then we'll see about how do you access this, how do you create the Azure OpenAI using Azure portal, and how do you create it using the command line CLI. And then we'll look at the 30,000 foot view. Guys, someone is talking. Can you please unmute yourself? So we'll look at 30,000 foot view of Azure AI Studio, and then we'll speak about a couple of generative AI models, and we'll see how do we deploy the models, and then we'll play around with the studio, whatever the examples which are coming built in, and then we'll speak about the tokens, what token is, why do we need to worry about the tokens, and then we'll see playing with our own completion thing, and then we can try the same completion in Postman, and then we'll try the last thing in we can do it in C sharp in two modes. One is wait until you get the response, and one is the streaming. Okay, a lot of things are there for us to go through. So ap- I'm still a learner. Apologize if I do any mistake. So let me first come and take this, and let's go to web and try for an image of this. Okay, because these terms all are related to each other, like AI, and you can see ML, and uh, DL, NLP, generative AI, all are pretty much interrelated, because I don't want to create a new image, and instead let's go and we can see this directly from here itself. A lot of people they have created, like you can see this artificial intelligence, and then we have the machine learning, then we have the deep learning, then the neural networks, and all these things. If you go and look at these images, there are different representations of that, and including the generative AI. If you see that all these terms are related to each other. Like if you see that artificial intelligence, then you have the subset of that is machine learning, then subset is deep learning, then comes the generative AI, then the large language models. Okay, so these are the terms which are pretty much related. So I just wanted you guys to have a high level uh, understanding or view of these. So I'm just throwing those terms there, and we can see these are the images which are given in different representation, but all are connected. If you see this a different representation, so I've given that. Now first let's come and see that actually what is intelligence. Let's see about like what is intelligence. So intelligence is something over a period of time we gain as a human intelligence. Like I'm riding my bike on a muddy road and I fell down. So why did I fell down? Did I raise it, or did I hold the brake, or did I stepped on the mud, or did I stepped on the stone? Based on that, next time when I am riding the bike on the same muddy road, I'll ensure that I'm not falling again. So I'll take care of this. So based on the previous experience, or based on vision, or based on the processing, if someone is trying to punch us, what do we do? Either we'll block him, or we punch that guy, or we move aside so that he doesn't punch us. So these all things we'll learn from our experience, the previous data, the lot of senses. So that's like the intelligence. Now, if you see the software programming, we'll get some input. Like example, we have written a code in Golang to display two tables. So what is the input for this program. So write two tables. So input is given a number, will display the table. Like if the user inputs 5, will display 5 table. If user inputs 10, will display 10 tables. So what happens is we are getting an input, and then we'll process that using our algorithm. That means program. Maybe this is displaying of table, or it could be like check whether it's a palindrome or not. So some kind of algorithm or some kind of logic will write it, and we'll get a output. So similarly, if you see this artificial intelligence, what is this artificial intelligence? Is like um, the human like intelligence. The computer program itself is showcasing the human like intelligence. So again, if you see that there are strong or the strong or narrow or weak. So strong or general AI is what performing a wide range of tasks. So narrow or weak is designed to perform a single task. Like if you see the GPT, it does compose an email, it does coding task, it does multiple things, a wide range of tasks. Suppose if you see Whisper or Dali, that is just doing a specific task. I'm just giving a hypothetical sample. Some artificial intelligence system doing a wide range of tasks. Some artificial intelligence system is doing a specific task. Now, if you see machine learning is subset, we have seen that. What is this machine learning doing when we compare to our traditional software? Like we collect the data, we prepare the data, we'll select a model, and we'll train, evaluate, and parameter tuning and prediction. So that means what is happening in this entire pipeline is we uh, we collect the data and pass through this pipeline all the way till the prediction. So the universal set is data. Like you have 100 rows. In this 100 rows, what is happening is we might give 70 to 80% of the data to train. From the real time data, we know that what is the data and what is it output. Like a leads, or it could be I'm purchasing a product. There are 100 users who purchased the product. So 80% of the rows we are giving to this training, and 20% we know this whether user X has purchased this or he is not going to purchase. So something like that. So that 20% data will feed in once the model has been trained to evaluate whether the model is doing the correct job or not. So the entire process, all the way from data collection, instead of prediction, generating new content, that's what is generative AI. We'll see that. So similarly, we see that deep learning is dealing with images and text. NLP is understand and interpret the human language, and you can see that the generative AI, Gen AI. So all everything like data collection, data preparation, model selection, training, evaluate, parameter tuning, instead of prediction and inferencing the model so that others can use. Instead of the prediction and inference, what we do is we'll generate the content. So that is what is this generative AI. So there are a couple of generative adversarial networks and variational autoencoders are there. I just put it there. Now if you see, is the AI coming into limelight now? No. So AI was existing since 60s. So this is the first artificial intelligence which was submitted by Joseph Sir back in 1964 to 1967 at MIT. He's the first person to submit it, and this ELIZA simulates the discussion. Now, I was little lucky to get hold of ELIZA program, not in the original language which was submitted, but I got a copy in Golang. But I played with it; it was pretty cool. So the artificial intelligence or NLP is not now. It came decades ago, and that's called ELISA. That's the uh, first one. You can go to this Wikipedia. You can see this. This is the first NLP chatbot, which was developed in mid 1960s, 64 to 67. But that means you would have started early 60s to complete this program, and it got submitted at MIT. Now let's come back to Azure OpenAI Transformer and GPT. Like Azure OpenAI is a cloud-based services. Like you know that OpenAI is a, company which created all these models, and Transformer is the architecture, the deep learning model architecture, and GPT is generative pre-trained transformer. Generative, we have seen that it generates the content. Pre-trained is it has been trained with large data set, maybe from internet, from books, or whatever it is, but it got trained with a huge content. And transformer is the architecture or the model which helps us to generate on this one. Okay, that is GPT's generative pre-trained transformer. Now let's enter into the world of Azure OpenAI. Now I'll click on the first link which I have given, Azure OpenAI Service. You can see this Azure OpenAI Service. It has got a lot of powerful language models. You can see this GPT-4o, GPT-4 Turbo. A lot of models are there, embedding and other models are there, and we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, and if you want to learn about the services and service quotas and limits, you need to come into this one. So you can see that per subscription, or like what is that which is there. You need to understand that you have to sit within this limits. Okay, this might change every now and then based on what they're providing. So all the time we need to refer this. Today if it is supporting 350, it's not guaranteed that tomorrow definitely it supports 350. It might be 400, or it might be 300, or it might be 350. We don't know, but all the time we need to come and we need to see that each region supports differently. You can see this here, it is 240, here it is 350. So whatever it is, the service, whether it is available in your region or not, what it supports, always refer the official documentation. Let's look at some of the models. Here you can see that the different models are there. We'll see at a high level, but this is the first session. It's like we are tipping our toes in the in the waters. It's just like high level, and then we'll go deep over the period of next 6 to 7 or 8 sessions, whatever it takes. But we'll take time, but we'll learn the concepts. But at a high level, let's see this models. Like we have Whisper, text to speech models are there. Whisper, like speech to text. You have DALI, which generates images, and embedding, which represents the text in a numerical vector, like GPT 3.5, GPT 4. Lot of different models are there. We'll look into that in a minute. So how do you access the OpenAI service? Like if you come to this one, access to OpenAI service, you have to fill a form. So it's not that all all is open kind of thing. You have to come and we have to click on this link. It opens up an form, and we need to fill the form. And within few hours, you will be given permission. You need to fill this, the subscription ID and other things, and that will be automatically, they will be provisioning or giving access to the OpenAI service. Okay, so yes, we are here. So that gives access to this OpenAI service. Now, how do we create the Azure OpenAI? Couple of ways we can create Azure OpenAI. So let me quickly come here. And the first way is we can click on create and OpenAI. and you see it is over here. I can click on create Azure OpenAI, and then this is my service, and I'm giving it a name, AOAI Dev 002 19th July. Some random name. Anyways, I'm going to delete it. So we'll give the pricing tier, and there are a couple of code of conducts, and you want to, how do you want to restrict the network? Like this is for the sample. We'll give a free hand. So we'll click on review and submit. It gives a very small set of information because the number of choices itself was pretty low. So we gave that, and it is going to create it. And what is the second way we can go ahead and create the OpenAI? The second way is will be able to create using Azure CLI. So one of the thing what we are going to do here is get random is going to give you a random number. Every time I execute this PowerShell, it is going to give me a random number. So I have created the Azure AI with the random number. So every time I execute, so now if I go and check AO AI name, so it is this one. Now if I execute it again, now you see this every time it generates a random number. That means I'm ensuring that the uniqueness has been maintained. So also I have initialized the other two variables. Uh, Here we can use the Azure uh, AI and execute this command. Now I click on this one. So either I can do with the portal or I can use Azure CLI. The best way is to do it with the infrastructure as a code, maybe the Bicep or Terraform or ARM templates, because this is Azure specific. I would suggest using Bicep because Bicep uh, is born and raised in Azure, so it's from the Microsoft. So I would suggest that to use it. The templates we don't need to sweat at all. The templates and everything is given by Microsoft. So all we need to do is lift and customize. So this is the one which it has created and should be 3313. So let's go and verify. Okay, this one is also created. So let me come back to the resource group and I can see that 3313, whatever we have created here, that also it has created, and also the 19th July that we manually created. Now that we know that, how we will be able to create it, I'm going to delete these two. I don't need it. Uh, so one thing, the 33, 13, whatever we created, we'll use that to do some of the samples for today. Okay. So that being said, we have covered the section 7.1. So we saw that how to do it. Now let's look at the Azure AI Studio from the 30,000 foot view. Now let's come and click on this. So you can see this Azure Studio here. Today we'll focus on completions. We'll not touch anything on chart or DALI or Whisper or text to speech or whatever it is. We are going to stick to the game plan. We'll work on Studio and we'll work on REST API, that is through Postman, and we'll work on C sharp. We'll see that, and then we'll do a deep dive in the from the prompt engineering perspective. So we'll go a little bit deeper to find out what prompt engineering, why should we learn prompt engineering, and that will be a combination of uh, diving deep using the Studio as well as purely from the prompt engineering knowledge perspective. Why do we need to learn prompt engineering? And we'll spend a lot of time only on that one. There'll not be any theoretical discussion. It's directly, let's open the studio or open this studio and start playing with it, and we might execute it with Python, C Sharp, or Postman. It's a combination of Studio, C Sharp, Python, and Postman, the rest. So everything from the discussion, what prompt engineering, how do we get it, different concepts or areas, what we need to focus from the prompt engineering perspective. So now that we have created our this one we have created. So uh, let me right mouse click on that and open in a new tab. So we will be coming and viewing at this uh, here. We are viewing at the Azure OpenAI. That is one. Now, if you see here at the bottom, you can see that AI metrics develop and go to OpenAI Studio. So now I click on that OpenAI Studio from that. So it is going to display this studio in a minute. So it displayed the studio. I mean, some of the messages are there. We'll discuss about that and explore Azure AI Studio. We'll stick to this one for now. Now, if you see this, this is the Azure OpenAI Studio, and this is the resource it rightly picked. See, 3313. That is what we just created using our AZCLI from PowerShell. So it picked up the right resource, and you can see uh, today we'll be playing with completions. Now, when we go and click on completions, it says that we did not deploy anything over here. Okay. So now from the models perspective, we can come in here and we can view what all the models which are there and what each model does and what is the quota. All the things are in black and white. And now, most of the time in my sessions, since 1 year I was doing sessions on Azure OpenAI, I used Text DaVinci. That is pretty good for uh, completions. If you go and see my session, which I did it 1 year ago, all the time I used to use the Text DaVinci. Now, if you see that here, we need to observe very carefully is that they are not deployable. So deployable is, it says no. That we need to very carefully understand that. And the model versions are here, and you can see this code. Today we'll worry only about the text. So you can see that the text ada, text babbage, text query, text DaVinci, none of these are deployable. Those are out of scope. So let's come back to this one. Let me create a model. So let me go and select. See, it shows here. Like if I come in and try to deploy this deployed name, and I'm taking everything, and I click on create. So here it says this. So when we are viewing the model, we need to know whether it is deployable or not. That's one point we need to be little careful. And the second thing is that even this will fail. I just wanted us to go through this one, and let me copy this name and call it as deployable name. And okay, I already took one. Okay, I'll show it from there. So let me select the instruct one. Uh, okay, so I select this and I will, now it is allowing because of the quota. I just create this instruct. So successfully deployed that. And let's come back to this completions. And here it shows the instruction. Now let me come back here. I just wanted to show you that difference. Some of the models which we deploy. So if you see the previous instance, I deployed GPT-35 Turbo 16K and GPT-35 Turbo. Now when I come to completions, you can see that uh, it's not showing the Turbo 16K. So even though it's deployed here, some of the models which it supports in completion are different. So you need to ensure that the model you deploy is supported for this completions. Okay. So here you can see that Turbo GPT Turbo 35 that is there, and here you can see this GPT 35 Turbo Instruct. Okay. So that is from the model's perspective. We need to be looking out. We need to be a little bit careful when we go and look at the models, what are deployable, and even if you deploy, what are applicable under which section is very important. So as we are discussing about completions, we are not discussing deep. It's just as I was mentioning, we are just tipping our toes in the water. We are not at all doing anything else. Just playing around, just like an hello world, scratching the surface. We'll come back with vengeance, and we'll do more in future. So let's come back and look at the documentation. We saw that studio, and we looked at, I mean, it's all like a 30,000-foot eagle view. You're not uh, coming and doing deep into the weeds stuff. It's just like tipping the toes in the water. We saw about the deployment, and then let's try a couple of these things. Like if you see that generate a product ideas. Now click on generate. Now so it is generating these things. Now if I want, I'll go and want to write an email, generate an email. So I can click on this generate an email. So it is generating this, and you can see this all the way. It generated this one. Like I can say that to generate an email, write an email to my boss asking him for 4 weeks vacation. I did not take vacation since 2 years. Okay, so we can try that and see subject. So it's clear cut. It says that subject request for 4 weeks vacation, addressing Nasir Ali Mirza. I would like to take an opportunity request for 4 days, and so date and also see this. It does a better job. I mean, if I have to write this much email, I would take 2 to 3 hours minimum. Now, on top of this, we can tweak this. Okay, and now if you see, each model will behave differently. Now we saw that how the Turbo 35 Instruct has written the email. Let's try the same on this Turbo 35. Let me click on the same thing, whatever we did it. Okay. Now let's see this. How does this behave? See this. It is doing in a different way. I'll let's wait until it completes. It generated something else also. But if you see this is not the wrong output. We can't tag it as a wrong output because each model has been trained with some content, and based on that content, it generates. Like if you see the text DaVinci, TextAda, Text Query, Text Babbage, those were text models. Now, if you ask the same question to four different models, those four models will give different answers. It does not mean that they are others are wrong and one model is right. Could be they have been trained and they have been fine tuned, or the way we are asking the prompt, it could be different. So here if you see this, the turbo, maybe turbo might do a better job in some other place, but if you see this instruct, it is from our perspective, this is doing a better job. It's I asked it to write a email to my manager Nasir asking for 4 weeks vacation. It does a pretty good job. I don't need to worry about it. I can directly do a copy paste, except this your name. I have to write my name Swami. But here, if you see this GPT Turbo, it did generate something, and on top of that, it did something else. So it's not that one model is right, other model is wrong. It could be the way I'm prompting here in Turbo. Maybe I need to write something extra, or the model has been trained like that. Maybe the content, or it might be trained for some other job. So that is very important for us to understand. Okay, so that's about the using. Now comes the tokens. Now if you see this, every time we execute something over here, uh, let me come here, you see that it says that tokens is 351 tokens. So our model understand and process text by breaking it down into tokens. The total amount of content the models can process in a single API call is also limited to the total number of tokens. So one thing we need to understand is, let's come back to this one, from the models perspective. Where are the models? Yeah, here. The models are here. If you see the models, let's come back to this one. You need to understand that what is the max request tokens, and like input is 16,000 tokens and output is this one. Like each one of these things we need to get deep into the weeds to understand, like what is the max tokens which it supports. Okay, that is very very important. Now actually, what is token? Let's dig deep into that. So token is what, like, uh, I'm giving an hypothetical example. The example might be wrong, but I'm telling, like, call. We are using cellular. Like, how are we being charged? Like per second, this much, or per minute, something like that. So here, the token is what you are being charged. Like you can see this, the tokens, approximately it is 4 characters roughly. You can see this. This is for English. A thumb rule is, if you are using English language, approximately 4 characters is one token. So we'll be charged based on tokens. So different, I'll come back with that algorithm, what algorithm it uses. We'll speak about that in the next session, but approximation. Now let's come back and see what is that we are being charged. The total tokens is 351. Oh, Jesus. Ow. Now let me copy this all the way till here and come back, and let's give it to this here. Now you see this? Whatever we see here in Azure OpenAI Studio, it's a combination of input and output. We gave an input, it generated output. The combination of input and output is 351 tokens. So when we pasted this, it gives the same 351, this one. So it says that there are 1666 characters. It is coming around 35 351 tokens. So you can see this write is one token, space an is one token. Now dot is one token, space I is one token. Now you can see this request with space is one token. Now that is I'm unable to recall on top of my mind. There is uh, a algorithm is there. I'll get back to you in the next session. But you can see this opportunities is one token. But if you see that just a dot is one token, so that's how it calculates that algorithm. Okay. So totally you can use this tokenizer, a very good tool. Please keep this handy. Whenever you want, you can come and paste it to see that how much tokens. But what we need to be very careful is what is the limit of the model which you're using. Okay, let's come back to this one and let's see. Uh, let's see this version. Okay, tokens per minute. You can see that. So tokens per minute is this is the limit, and rate limit request per minute is 720 requests. So we need to be very careful. What is the total number of tokens? Combination of input and output. What is the total number of requests which it can process per minute, and what is the total uh, tokens we have seen per minute. Okay, we need to be very careful when we are dealing with it. Okay, so that's about the tokenizer. Now we can try our own this thing. So I can come and tell this. Let's come and let me give this. Uh, we'll not use our prompt engineering skills in this session today. We'll do very raw and crude way. We'll not even worry about what temperature is, what other things are, but let's see what it does. Okay, just let's enjoy the output, whatever it is generating. So you can see that input. Tell me two jokes about simple people. So it gave something. Now tell me two jokes about software engineers. So you see that? So why did the software engineer quit his job? He didn't get any raise. Oh God, I didn't understand. Okay. Why was the computer cold? Because it left the windows open. Good. I think we can laugh on this joke for sure. So we can try this one and we can see input top five foods. Um, Give the top five: dosa, idli, biryani, sambar, Hyderabad chicken biryani. Ooh, I didn't know that. What are the top five populated states in India? Now, see this again. I told if I give the same thing here to this model, it it gives something pretty random. Also, see this. Then apply the k-means algorithm. I mean, maybe this model is used for different thing. Maybe I'm using the wrong tool here, but from our perspective, GPT-35 Turbo Instruct is doing the better job. So you can write multiple prompts. I mean, as I was mentioning, just we are scratching the surface or tipping the toes in the water. You're not doing anything else. Just will enjoy. Ooh. So I mean, it's trying to do something. Now here comes our prompt engineering skills. Uh, so see this when I don't give this word output. So what this model is expecting, it is expecting that we need it has to generate more queries. So it's adding more queries on top of the existing queries. So then it's not the model is wrong. It is our prompt engineering skills. I didn't give a proper prompt to it. So now I can say that, oh, okay, my inputs is over. Please generate the output. Now it understands, okay, he gave two queries and he just wants answer. So it said that uh, it's giving. So I'll cut this and again I will ask it to generate and let's see what is that it is generating. Now see this, the difference. You can see that previously it said Lanco Health Signature Tower. Oh, pretty much the same. Okay, but it is generating a different content. It didn't give the feet and other things, but we'll come back to that a little later. Now, how can I do the same thing in Postman? Okay, so that's pretty simple. How do we do that in the Postman? Is you can click on this view code and go and click on curl. So that gives the complete endpoint. So you can copy that endpoint, come back here, create a new one. Understand that is a post call. Okay. So it does send the data. We'll come back to the data piece. That's one thing. And the next thing, what we need to do is we'll come back to the header and content type is application by JSON. That's one piece of the header. And the next piece is we need to send the API key. So we'll get this API key here. Ow. Okay. API key. I can go copy the API key and paste it here. Then come back to the body, raw, and that's the one. So we need to send open and close the parenthesis. We have to send prompt. Okay. Now what was the prompt? We said input. We gave two inputs, which is the tallest building and which is the tallest building in Hyderabad. Tuck, 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 till here. I'm just copying till there and go. There you go. Now give the prompt and content filter and other things will come back. There's no hate, no jailbreak, no self harm, no sexual content, no violence. It just content filters are coming, and you can see that the tallest building in the world is Burj Khalifa, and it stopped. Now, one thing we need to understand is the Finnish reason. The Finnish reason it says that it's because of the length. So that means the total number of tokens what we are asking is that you need to specify. Now you see this, it didn't generate the text, whatever the which is there under the choices. It generated a text. It stopped in between. But here it says that finish reason is length. So that means the number of tokens it's not unlimited. You need to give that, hey, use 350 tokens. So you're saying that okay, we are little liberal. And now you can come back here. Now you can see that it is saying that uh, here the choices. So Burj Khalifa is one, and the second is this. Now here the finish reason is stop means assume that it has done its job and it is stopping. Okay, let's regenerate that. And now let's come back and look at it. See this here, it is generating the output, the Burj Khalifa located in Dubai, so and so, and also the second one, the tallest building in Hyderabad is L&T Phoenix Infocity. Previously it said Lanco Hills, now it says. Now you can come down and you can see this, the prompt token, the query itself is 26 tokens, and the completion tokens is this one, and 92. Okay, so that's about this one. Let's see. Uh, we learned how to do it with the Postman. Let's see how can we do this uh, in this one completion model using C sharp. So I'll come back here, and the small things are there. So this is the first thing is this is the .NET 8 sample. Okay, and I'm using Azure OpenAI 1. Beta 17, and here I'm using system.console as static. That means what it happens is if you come here, expand the obj and get into the debug, and here inside this, when you come to the global usings, so the system.console using it as static will be added as part of the generated code. Now framework takes care of this, adding it into global usings. We don't need to maintain it. So one of the suggested method, if you have something you want to add it as part of your global usings, better to do it in the CS proj. Okay, so that's one of the tip. Now the other one is we have a configuration where I have the strongly typed configuration. So we have the strongly typed configuration where whatever I need, I put it here as part of the configuration. And one of the iHost extensions where we are creating the configuration, we are saying that load the app settings. I've given app settings and example app settings, what all the things which you need to fill it. Because I'm using the secrets.json, it comes from the secrets. Even though I don't give it, I have it in the secrets.json file. I've added the secrets here, and I'm creating the instance of this class, and then loading the configuration from app settings or the secrets .json, whatever is applicable, it picks it up from there, and I'm adding this object as a singleton, and then I'm calling the configure service. So the configure service is app extension where I have these two headers and footers, small library, which is just for a beautification, nothing to do with the AI code. So now comes the real play. So we need to create the OpenAI client. So you can see that we need to specify the endpoint, that's URI, and key credential. This is the API key, whatever we took it up. And then we need to have the completion options. So we are saying that the deployment name, you need to be very careful when it asks for the deployment name. Sometimes they say deployment. We should not be confused with this one model name. Somewhere previously it used to call model name, but what they are technically asking is the deployment name. Okay, so that's the deployment name. And here is a prompt which I have given over here. And you can see this client is the OpenAI client. Inside that, get completions, and that is asking the completions options. So here, these are the things which are specified. And what is the response is the response completions. So it comes here. And inside that, we have value of choices, and inside the choices, text of 0. That's what we're expecting. If you see this JSON over here, you see it's a choices is an array, and inside that, the first object dot text. Technically, that's what we are doing. So we have the value, and then the choices object. Inside the choices object, we are picking up the first one. So again, when we do the prompt engineering, then we should use our prompt engineering skills plus this one, whether we are getting a single one or a multiple outputs. So in that case, we need to traverse. So that's one. And so second one is little interesting. So this one, what happens is until it gets the response, it passes the screen and then flushes it onto the screen. Now here what happens is it's like a streaming, like as and when it gets chunks, as and when it gets chunks, it just prints like you see this computer programming printing onto the screen. You can see that over here. Just observe. It will be a little bit of delay. You can see that the first one comes all at once. So question, see this here, it is streaming. Okay, let me play this again. The cyan, dark cyan is all at once. See that? Everything at once. Here it is streaming. As and when the chunks it receives from the Azure OpenAI, it prints. So that is what I have planned for this session. It's just like everything is 30,000 foot view. I've given some of the terms, and I think I have shown you instead of copy pasting the same image from internet. I just directly went and showed different representation. I liked this one, why it is called as large language model, because that models has been trained with a large lot of content. Like you see this at a high level, if you understand, you can understand like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI. Okay, and generative AI consists of large language models, maybe the GPT model, vision model, or text models, whatever it is. That's the one. Okay, so that's about it for today's session. So we'll see you guys in the next session. Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Swami, for delivering such an insightful session. It was indeed an insightful and knowledgeable session. So I would request the participants, if they have any queries, do write in the chat box, or they can feel free to contact us at hello@datacouch.io. And if any of the participants have missed any of the information regarding the session, the recording of today's session will be available on our YouTube channel. And we encourage the participants to subscribe our social media channels and join our meetup groups to stay updated on future informative sessions and content like this. The links of the social media channels and meetup groups are given in the chat box. At last, I would thank you all for your participation. We look forward to seeing you at the next event. Thank you all.
Ravikant, I have pasted the links. Ravikant, it's Vishy Pylor. Again, I'll paste it. That's the demo script, and this is my. Uh, uh, this is where you can find. That is one. Okay, you got it, Ravikant. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot for this wonderful session, sir.
Good night, folks.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Good night, Swami.
Bye.